D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds, and welcome to my week in review, where I come to you every Sunday, or in this case Monday, every week with 3 entertainment stories that I personally find interesting, and then we discuss them down below. Now, also down below, you can find the articles that I read to bring you this video, and you can read them for yourself, or you can just listen to this video where I'm going to break them all down for you. I also want to just say that if you like what I do here and you enjoy independent content here on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. YouTube is always changing up their algorithm, and small channels like mine, we just keep getting shoved to the back of the line. So please ask that you like, share, and subscribe, and I thank you in advance. Alright, so now that we got all that jazz out of the way, why don't we go ahead and get started. Again, sorry this is on Monday, but the Super Bowl was yesterday and I had to do some trailer reactions and everything. So, yeah. Alright, let's get started. So, for my first story this week, alright, you guys, David Leitch is no longer directing the next Jurassic World movie. So we're going to read this article. It comes from Deadline. And I just want to say this was such a bad choice on his part, because he had a great opportunity and now he's just throwing it all away. All right, so this comes from Deadline, my favorite. All right, it says, Universal is back on the search for a director to helm the next Jurassic World movie, as Deadline is hearing David Leitch is no longer in talks to direct the film. Now, insiders say that the parting was amicable and that ultimately the studio and Leitch had different visions for the film. Now, I just want to know, how do you like be a director like David Leitch and then have creative differences with the studio? Like, I'm just like, I don't see why that's happening, my dude. Like, it's so, like, I don't know, because this is like a movie that could make your career really, like, jump, and you get, like, way more, opportunities out of it. All right. So it says, this now becomes one of the hotter directing jobs in town, as the studio is sticking to its July 2nd, 2025 a release date. Now, I just want to know how exactly they're going to be able to do that release date, because that's so close. Like, they must just already have everything ready to go, and maybe not that many visual effects. I mean, if you remember, the original movie didn't have, like, everybody always, was just like, oh, that movie's so good, and it is so good, but apparently there wasn't as many digital effects as you think there would be. So we'll just yeah, well, I'm just curious as to how they think they're going to get that release date so fast. So it says, Universal recently tapped David Cope, who helped launch the franchise when he penned the first 2 Jurassic Park films, to write the script. And I already did a video on that, and I'll leave it in the iCard section so you guys can check that out. So it says, the new movie will be be a complete fresh take on Jurassic era, with Jurassic World cast members Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard not expected to return, nor will the original trilogy's thespians Jeff Goldblum, Laura Dern, and Sam Neill. Which I just go, I mean, that's fine, but it's also a bummer. It says the film will be executive produced by Steven Spielberg through his entertainment, and Frank Marshall and Patrick Crowley, yada, yada, yada. And it says the Jurassic franchise has grossed more than $6 billion worldwide through the 6 movies, and the most recent installment, 2022's Jurassic World Dominion, not very good, topped $1 billion at the global box office. So, overall, what do I think about this? I think this is a bummer for him. I mean, he could have made it big or whatnot with this one, because I mean, like, let's be honest, David Leitch is not exactly, like one of those directors that you think of as like, hey, why don't we hire David Leitch and everything. So, I mean, it's a bummer that he couldn't work it out with the studio, but at the same time, I just go, what was so crazy that you couldn't work it out with the studio? You know what I'm saying? Like, call me up. I'll direct your movie. Maybe he just, he was going to get too many, like, studio notes, and he just wasn't interested in that. But I just go, man, just take the notes and just, how they say, do one for you, do one for yourself, do one for them, do one for you. I'm just like, make this one for them, buddy. Come on, man. I mean, but hey, that's just me. All right, you guys, so that was my first story of the week. So for my second story of the week, all right, you guys, so this Coyote versus Acme movie was shelved, if you didn't know. So there was this movie, and they were going to make it, and it got shelved. So now they're going to destroy. They're just going to completely wipe it off the face of the earth, which I just go, what? So here's what happened. So they made this movie. And this, oh, by the way, this comes from the rap, right? So they made this movie. It was called Coyote versus Acme. And it was basically just a movie where Coyote, he like sues, Acme and tries to get away from him or whatnot and everything. And it sounded like a pretty good movie. I love Looney Tunes, so I'd probably watch it and everything. But it looks like then they tried to shop it around because they were just going to cancel it. They shelved it and everything, and then it looks like they tried to shop it around. Like they shopped it to like Netflix and everything and all these other places. And it just looks like the price tag was too high. Like I guess they wanted $30 million, and I believe it was Paramount or Universal. They even were willing to give it a theatrical release. Isn't that crazy? And they turned it down. Now they're just going to destroy it. And I just go, why? I mean, David Zaslav is just making bad decisions, in my opinion. I mean, maybe Batgirl was a good decision to get rid of that, and he could have got a tax break, and maybe he can get another tax break on this one. But I'm like, and everybody says it's good. Everybody says this movie is good. So let's read this real quickly and everything. So it says, in early January, Coyote vs. Ugly, producer Chris DeFara. Oh, that's another thing about this one. We'll talk about him in just 1 second. So Chris DeFara got a startling phone call from Warner Brothers executive. They just want to get this behind them. An executive told DeFara they want to close the books. In the words of the Roadrunner, Meep, the movie is live-action animated hybrid that stars Will Forte and the Looney Tunes gang that had embarked on demolition on November 9th. But following the announcement that the movie would be canceled, a firestorm of outrage and indignation erupted. It was heightened by the friends and family screening that had already been planned before the cancellation announced was made. The screening brought more goodwill and an even louder public outcry. What was so exciting was that it felt like the film captured the voice of the Looney Tunes that we love in a way that none other feature versions have ever done, Paul Scheer, who was at the screening, told The Wrap. The last movie was the feature characters. It was 2021 Space Jam: A New Legacy, which was god-awful, was panned by critics and lost money. Warner Brothers, reacting to the hubbub, walked back its initial decision. Instead of canceling the movie outright, the studio would give the filmmakers the chance to shop it around. If another studio wanted to pick it up, they could. Now, months later, Warner Brothers had had enough. The call to DeFara made that crystal clear. With Warner Brothers Discovery's fourth quarter earnings call scheduled on February 23rd, Coyote vs. Acme is running out of time. Many of the film's team feel that the studio will use the end of the quarter to get the movie off the books for good. Coyote vs. Acme is running up against something worse than a tunnel painted into the side of a mountain for falling anvil. It will finally be silenced by a movie studio's balance sheets. In a truly inglorious end, a source close to the movie, which I feel like it's Defaria, we'll say Defaria. Anyways, I feel like he's the inside source. A source close to the movie doesn't believe Warner Brothers would even announce that they hadn't found a home for the movie. They would unceremoniously delete it, never to see it again. Which, that's also just a bummer that it would just get deleted off of their servers and stuff. And it reminds me of Batgirl, because that was deleted off of their servers, if you remember correctly. And those directors, they couldn't even be like Zack Snyder, where they got a copy of it. It was just boom, gone. So it says, following the death of the potential resurrection of Coyote vs. Acme, there were screenings for interested parties. According to several people familiar with the situation, Netflix, Amazon, and Paramount screened the movie, which was received well and submitted handsome offers. Paramount even proposed a theatrical release component to their acquisition of Coyote vs. Acme, and that's what I told you before. So it was Paramount. Sorry, I thought it was Universal. But Paramount offered to release this theatrically, so like in the theaters and everything, which is just so weird. They could have done the thing that Universal does. So Universal has a 14-day theatrical window. Release this sucker in theaters. Then after 14 days, release it on digital, where you can either buy or rent it. And then after that, release it on streaming. Like, once you're done with all that nonsense, then release it on streaming. And movies make money. Like, you'd be surprised. For instance, Puss in Boots, that was in theaters while it was still on digital and still on streaming, and people still went and paid to see it in theaters. Isn't that crazy? I didn't see it in theaters. I rented it, but and you still make your money. You know what I'm saying? So it's so crazy to me. I mean, you kind of make your money when it goes to streaming, but not as much as you do if people buy it / rent it. Okay, so I'm going to skip past all that, and it says, but Warner Brothers, which stood to make 35 to 40 million on a tax write-down, wanted something in the ballpark of 75 to 80 million from a buyer. And what's more, they wouldn't allow the interested studios to counter Warner Brothers' offer. It was a take it or leave it situation. So they were just like, if you're not going to pay 75 to 80 million for it, then that's it. Just don't get it and everything. And I'm like, where did you come up with that number, fuckers? One that other studios didn't even know they were entering into, insiders told the Wrap, which if they didn't tell them we're looking for 75 to 80 million, and then it just means they were just trying to get rid of it. You know what I'm saying? They weren't even kind of interested. So, and then one thing also that it says in here was that David Zaslav didn't even see the movie. He didn't even watch the movie. And I just go, man, that so sucks, because what if you had watched it and you had seen it and you loved it? What if you loved it and it was just so good and you just skipped it because you were just like, nope, I want that sweet cash, my dude. Fuck this movie. So it looks like we're not going to get Roadrunner or Coyote versus Acme. And it's just going to go bye-bye forever. God, I wish it's same thing with Batgirl. I wish they could get somebody could get a copy of this movie and get it out to the public, like on one of those pirate sites, because I would really love to see this movie. Same thing with Batgirl. I want to see it now. Batgirl was so bad apparently that you scrapped it, and this movie's so good and you want to scrap it. So I want to see it. You know what I'm saying? And I'll pay money for it. I'll pay to see it. I'll pay the renter's fee or the buyer's fee on iTunes and everything. So it's very interesting and sad at the same time. All right, you guys. So that was my second story of the week. So for my third and final story of the week. Okay, so it looks like we're getting another Predator movie. Yay, I guess. I don't know, man. I feel like the Predator movies are kind of going downhill a little bit. But Dan Trachtenberg is going to direct. Now, who is Dan Trachtenberg? Well, he directed that Prey movie, the last installment. And he's going to do that, but it's not a sequel to Prey, you guys. It's going to be its own thing, and it's called Badlands. So let's read this article from Deadline, my favorite. And there's Dan Trachtenberg right there. So it says, direct a new standalone Predator movie, Badlands, for 20th Century Fox, it should say, expands on the universe, which I hope it does. And I'll talk about that in just 1 second. So it says, following the massive success of the Predator pick, Prey, 20th Century is moving forward with the next film, as Deadline is hearing Dan Trachtenberg is returning to write and direct Badlands, a new standalone pick in the franchise that is expected to shoot later this year. Now, I just want to say real quick, I didn't like Prey. I don't know if you liked Prey. If you did like Prey, that's all on you. I have nothing against you if you liked it. I just didn't like it. So back off, okay? I did my review for it. You can check that up in the iCard section and everything. But I did not care for it. I didn't care for it. All right, so it says, the film is a high priority for the studio, and sources say Trachtenberg and execs are already meeting with talent for the lead role. Trachtenberg co-wrote the script with Patrick Asen. The plot details are being kept under wraps, other than it will feature everyone's favorite extraterrestrial big hunter, of course, because if it didn't, that'd be weird. And it is also not known about release plans, as the last film exclusively streamed on Hulu, breaking numerous viewerships recordings for the streamer. But given that 20th Century has been very much back in the theatrical game with films like Boogeyman and the upcoming Alien Romulus, film bowing in theaters, a theatrical premiere isn't out of the question, which I think it's always good for a movie to go to theaters. I mean, Prey went to streaming, and I mean, I didn't feel like that was theatrical. I wouldn't have saw it in theaters. I'm going to tell you that right now. When Prey premiered in the summer of 2022, it not only broke streaming records for Hulu, but earned some of the best reviews in the franchise history that culminated in the nomination for Best Movie at this year's Emmys, which I do not get that at all. That movie sucked balls. But, you know, whatever. Since that successful relaunch, 20th Century is looking to not just move forward with another film, but expand on the universe with Trachtenberg spearheading it. Which, good for him. I'm glad that he got the job. And then sources say, while it is still early development, a Prey 2 is still in the works that would return the films to original setting with the film's star, Amber Midthunder, potentially returning. Sources stress no talent is attached to that film, but the interesting element is that even though there has been 7 films featuring the infamous alien, there has never been an instance where the star of the previous film has returned to reprise their role. Which, I mean, so, like, who cares? So what do we all think about this? I think it's fine, you know? I mean, do I love this idea? I mean, I like Predator, and I like Predator 2. I know some people don't like Predator 2, but I like Predator 2. And I am interested in learning about the Predator world. Like, I'm interested in finding out more about the alien species of a Predator. But I don't know, man. Prey was so bad for me personally. I just thought that movie sucked balls, and I didn't like it very much. But I'm willing to check it out if they do have it. Like, I'm not gonna, you know, shut it down. You know, but I'm open-minded. But we'll see how this turns out, and we'll see how everything goes. All right, you guys, so that was my last story of the week. Tell me, what do you guys think about all of this? How do you feel about David Leitch not directing the next Jurassic World movie in the franchise? Do you like this idea? Did you like David Leitch and all his past work, and you thought, hey man, give the dude a chance, see what he's got to say about it? And are you like me and you want to know exactly what was it that his version of the movie was, like his vision for the movie, that the studio just didn't like? They're like, no, we don't like that. You need to do human dinosaur hybrid. And he was just like, what? No, and everything. Or, you know, was his idea just so crazy that they were just like, absolutely not? I'm just curious to what it was that they were just like, no, thank you. And he was like, fine, I don't want to do it anyways with you fuckers. Also, tell me, how do you guys feel about this Coyote versus Acme movie getting destroyed, like being deleted off of their servers and no longer being around for the rest of the world to see? Do you like this idea? Do you not like this idea? You know, how do you feel about Warner Brothers just getting rid of movies left and right? They don't even care. They just want that sweet cash back. You know what I'm saying? And do you want to see this movie, or are you not a Looney Tunes fan? You're just like, I just don't care. I'm not a Looney Tunes person, so I don't care. And then finally, tell me, how do you guys feel about this new Predator movie with Trachtenberg directing? Is this something that you're interested in? Are you looking forward to it? Not looking forward to it? How do you feel about it? Do you like those Predator movies and everything? Or do you just wish that they just would stop and like get somebody that actually knows what they're doing or something like that? Did you like Prey? Sorry if you did. I mean, we all have character flaws, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. All right, you guys. Well, that's all I got for you this week. Tell me, what do you guys think about all of this? Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. You know I won't mind. If you're my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on my next week in review. You guys have a good week. Bye. Hey nerds, if you like this video, go ahead and click that Geek What icon and subscribe. And if you like this video, go ahead and join me every Sunday with my week in review.